Excellency, Honorable Prime Minister Rama, dear ministers, dear Ambassador Kukko, it's a great pleasure to welcome you at the Clingendael Institute today and to acknowledge the many diplomats, policymakers, experts and journalists who have joined us here in the room for your visit.
Instead of a keynote speech that would sound like propaganda, I would better like to have a conversation. It has become more and more important for us to look into this country and to understand and learn from this country, although the gap is huge and sometimes I'm not sure that we should even try to imitate whatever it is from this amazing place. But at the end, I must say that thanks to the push and the pressure coming from here, we have improved a lot, maybe more than we would have improved without the push and the pressure. We are fighting with bribes, we're fighting with all type of things that in this country are even lost in the memory. And you can't do that otherwise. So the European Union is a bless for countries that want to build institutions and want to have a functioning democracy. Then, okay, it can become a curse when it comes to regulations, to the point that you are so much regulated that you can't move. But until then, we have to just enjoy this part of the story. So we have to enjoy the preparation to marry. We have to enjoy the wedding. We have to enjoy the honeymoon, and then we'll start to wonder about the regulations. Right? So this is life.
Sounds like the right order.
Yeah, I know something about the order. I have had several divorces, you know.
All right. Yeah. Not sure if we should
get
into that topic today.
That's why I can tell you that the Brits should go to the neurologist, because they did the wrongest thing ever. You know, divorcing from a so well documented wife like European Union is madness.
We're talking a lot about what the candidate countries, the member states, have to do to acquire their, to do everything in order. But what do you think the EU has to do?
To do what?
To get you in. And to get the Western Balkans.
Well, what the EU has to do to get us in? It has to get us in. That's simple.
No, I mean, do they have to change? Do they have to reform the Union?
Listen, if you are the poor and want to marry a rich, you can't ask the rich to change. You have simply to do whatever you can for the rich to think that one day you can be rich too. But the EU at least should have a peace plan for the war in Ukraine, which is not about just us, but which is about the whole Europe and about humanity. When Viktor Orban, who is someone that, of course, is controversial for many reasons, and you can think whatever you want about the rest, but was talking about ceasefire, everyone was treating him like a pariah. Suddenly, when Donald Trump mentioned ceasefire, everyone jumped like the new Einstein discovered the formula, and like the ceasefire was a word that entered for the first time in the vocabulary of the history. And now what's next? Because the ceasefire, sorry, was too late. I think we need to have one Europe. I dream the day that our finance minister will be Dutch. In Albania, the Albanian one, not the, because in Europe is already Dutch even if it's not Dutch. So because the Dutch is behind saying, no, 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 you can't spend this, no, 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 you can't spend that. And now Mark is in NATO saying to us, spend, spend, spend. So this is, yeah. But he had a great answer for that because, I assisted in a kind of, not battle, because with Mark you can't battle, but a debate, and there were few colleagues of the European Union who said to him, Mark, what is this? You were the one that were all the time blocking us, and now you want us to spend. Who are you? It's difficult to put together the two pictures. He said, no, I am the same. I've just two different pair of shoes, and these ones are different. He's right. Listen, now we are. What is this? Is this Chatham House, or this is all for the press? Anyhow, I met a few days ago the director of IMF for Europe. He said, because of all the new developments, we saw this thing about 5% and rearming and all this. He said, we saw that the national defense became much more robust in the risks. So we brought the deadline to 2040. And his assessment was that in 2040, the average debt of EU member states will be 130%. Is it sustainable? So my feeling is that we are doing something profoundly wrong in general, together. But it's just a feeling, and don't take me seriously because I'm just an artist. That sometimes feelings prevail and logic is not so straight. And I don't want to provoke anyone, but I think that cutting education, cutting healthcare, cutting welfare, cutting here, cutting there, to produce more weapons, to buy more weapons, to overload Europe with weapons, it's not going to save us from Russia, but I'm afraid it's not going to save us even from ourselves at the end. And God forbid, the biggest risk then will become that a war will start between member states, because there are many ghosts underneath, and there are many conflicts that we thought were buried forever. But rearming on one hand and making the populations less and less happy, more and more anxious, more and more insecure, more and more anti-political, more and more looking for solutions that are not there, smells about something that Europe has seen in the beginning of the last century and has paid very dearly in the end of the first half of that century. So personally, I think that this is an immense opportunity to wake up and change the game. But how? Don't ask me. I'm just the Prime Minister of Albania, and the great thing about being the Prime Minister of Albania is that you are together with the big and the strong, and when they fuck up, it's their fault. When they are successful, we are in it together.
You mentioned already the Commissioner of Italy. You made this agreement with Italy last week, and in our country we now start making a new government, and the main subject, the first subject to discuss, is asylum. So it's the main thing here in Netherlands, but actually in many countries in Europe it's one of the main issues. You have an interesting agreement with Italy. I know about it, but it's probably very interesting for the people that you can explain a little bit more what it is and if other countries can learn from it.
First of all, this is an agreement that is partly logical, partly illogical. And the illogical part has to do with our very special relation with Italy. So Italy has been to us like safety boat when we risked to drown, and not once. And so we did it, but there is one thing that has to be taken in consideration: the geography. Albania and Italy are separated by a sea, and when the boats come, instead of stopping to one side, they stop to the other side. Now, thinking to repeat, to copy it, when it's about one country being deep inside Europe and another country being outside Europe, looks to me, sounds to me like a deportation. I don't know exactly, but it sounds to me like a deportation. And if it's about that, then it means that can be straightforward. Send them back. I'm following the logic. It's not my idea. But so I think that every shortcut, every adjustment can serve the purpose of appeasing the public for a while, can serve the purpose of thinking that you are doing something, can maybe mean something, but will not be enough to tackle the thing. And to tackle the thing, the logic wants to go to the countries from where it comes and to open there the channels of legal immigration. And to do that, you need to have some power vis-à-vis the countries there in terms of authority, in terms of respect, in terms of trust, and so on and so further. So that's why I believe that we need a stronger Europe, a bigger Europe, not a weaker and a smaller, and we need a Europe that is able to deal with these things as such, and not, one does one thing, the other does another thing, the other does a third thing, and everyone, everyone lives in the illusion that is doing something consistent for the problem that is huge, and it may become even bigger. So this is my take on it, and I don't know. I'm not familiar with how the logic behind this third country solution stands when it comes to countries that are Rwanda, Uganda. I don't know. It looks to me a bit complicated, but I assume that them who think about it know better and have more facts in their hands. Maybe it works. I don't know. This one is not working for the moment because the courts in Italy have blocked it. Now there is this European Pact against illegal migration. Let's see how it will develop. But the problem is much bigger than this partial solutions and the partial discussions, which are very political, but are not holistic.
My name is Antoinette Dimitrova, and I'm professor of politics at Leiden University. I looked at two sets of numbers today. So, as was said already, the Albanians, some of the most pro-European citizens of Europe. They like the European Union. They're supportive of European integration. But if you look also at an opinion poll of your citizens, you notice that for last year and for this year, the biggest fears of Albanian citizens were organized crime and corruption. Now, that's not surprising given what you just said, but my question is the following. After the wedding, as you, to continue your metaphor, this work still needs to be done, and also Albanian citizens still need to do something about it themselves. So what do you tell them after you've joined the European Union and you say...
Sorry, I didn't get it. The biggest fear of the European citizens, not of the Albanian citizens.
Albanian citizens.
Oh, this is not accurate. There is no big fear of Albanian citizens about organized crime.
Organized crime and corruption. Well, this is numbers we just got in
This may be a survey
Netherlands.
made in
Yes,
Netherlands, but
recent
not in
poll.
Albania.
So what are Albanian citizens worried about?
Albanian citizens are worried about unemployment, are worried about the economy, are worried about other things, and of course they are worried about corruption, but it's not in the top of their priorities, and because they are also seeing that there is a big fight against corruption, and there is nowhere in any survey that Albanian citizens are worried about organized crime.
And does the work finish then with accession on these issues?
This is another thing, but just to set the record straight about the Albanian citizens, because surveys, I have never seen a survey, nor of us and either of others, that shows worry about organized crime of the Albanian citizens, which doesn't mean that we don't have to fight the organized crime, which doesn't mean that we don't have organized crime. We have. There is. And organized crime is international. It's very much, the EU of criminals is much faster, much more efficient. There are no vetoes, there are no benchmarks, there are no issues of communication. They have technology, they have money, they have speed. So we need to fight them efficiently. We need to do far less spending of time for senseless regulations and discussions, and much more to go hands in together. So this is about it. While for the 92% of the Albanians supporting European Union, I have to also to tell that the 8% that do not support are people that might have had issues with their wives, their husbands, their migraine, or their football team when they were asked. And they have been angry for totally different reasons, and they said, no, I don't like the European Union. But in another day, they would absolutely support it. So I don't know one Albanian that is not supporting the European Union because of a very simple reason. Not because we are naive, not because we are stupid. Albanians are incredibly political. They follow politics, they talk politics, they eat politics, they drink politics, and then at the end they arrive in the conclusion every day that they don't want to hear about politics. But because for us, European Union is the place to make sure that our children and the children of our children will be finally safe from whatever can happen and from whomever would want to control us again. So we have been under different empires. We have been under the Ottomans, we've been under the Soviets, we've been under the Chinese. We've always been more than 90% supportive. But the difference is that not because of our choice, but because we have been imposed. This is the first time we have made a free choice as people. So Europe is our free choice, and Europe is like the place to be safe. And for us, Europe is when Albanians say we want Albania in Europe, they don't think about the money, believe it or not. Because for the money, they come themselves in Europe and they make the money. They think about the safety, the security, the guarantee that finally we will be ruled by rules. Finally, we'll have some basic things like freedom, like rights, like equality in front of the law that will be guaranteed. It's a bit very similar to the founding fathers' imagination and drive. So this is why we, and when I say this to foreigners, they ask me, but why today here and in my country people don't think of Europe like that? And my answer is very simple, because they are spoiled. Because in the human nature, when you are good, there is always better, while when you are bad, there is always worse. So we belong still to the second category. We have seen only bad in history, and we know there is worse. People here that talk about Europe like something to get rid of, they have no idea. They have no idea that it can be so worse. Because they have never seen a war, and if they have never seen a war, it's thanks to the European Union, I believe.
How do you see Albania in a couple of years?
Well, finally Albania will be boring, and my job will be finished.
Right. Thanks a lot. Please join me in thanking the Prime Minister.
I thank you all for the very nice atmosphere, and I hope my words will not be flying around like like a drunk guy from the Balkans came to see you, and he just threw in the air things that were shocking. So if you can't resist the temptation to share what you heard, please be accurate and don't add fuel, because it was enough. So thank you.
Thank you. Please join us for the reception.